Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to break down the 2-game NFL preseason slate on Friday. We have the showdown slate tonight. We have 2 games tomorrow. We have like 37 games on Saturday, so definitely will not be touching grass then. But if you guys are a first-time viewer, I cover content for NFL, NBA, daily fantasy sports, also for player prop sites like Prize Picks and Underdog. And if you guys are looking for more content for DFS or for player props, you can check my Patreon link down below. We've had a phenomenal run so far in the preseason. Looking like it's going to be another profitable day. We'll recap stuff in a second. If you're looking for more content for DFS, I posted all the stuff for the showdown slate for free on Twitter yesterday. But all this is a post on Patreon. All this data, snap percentage, routes run, targets, catches, carries, all that I have a color coded. That's over on my Patreon if you guys are interested in that. So it's pretty big help for breaking down and being profitable with a preseason DFS. I also put a ton of other stuff in there. Constant updates with who's active, who's inactive. I was literally before the game today was looking at blurry photos and like deciphering who's in, who's out. So we came up with that there are going to be 8 active receivers for Philadelphia. That was correct. But yeah, I was looking through like videos and like figuring out who's wearing what numbers. So that's the type of work I put in for preseason. Literally, I want all my members to win, so I go all out. I'm a little bit crazy, but I'm gonna do whatever it takes for my members to win. So again, guys, if you're looking for that, you can check it out down below. But preseason props today. So should have been the only miss was Sermon, who broke off like a 40-yard touchdown on one of his 5 carries. That should have been the only miss today. I am shaking a little bit from this bad beat. Felton was shut down at his under rushing yards. As Felton was shut down in the second half, he came back on the last drive because of injuries to Hall/Wilkins. Came back in and went over. Incredible stuff. Went 3-1 in Underdog. That was great. We took Kyrie Cleveland under. Hopefully he is good. I heard that his movement is extremity, so that is good. We took his under. We took Mond over. We took, what else? What else? There was one more hit I'm blanking on. And then I tweeted out a free play. That also hit. So make sure to follow me on Twitter, guys. We gave this for free. Kellen Mond over his rushing yards and Rashad Penny under his rushing yards. So that was really, really good to see. And then I'm sweating some WNBA stuff right now. So hopefully, if I can get a couple of those, I'll have actually a really, really big night. And then as far as the recap for DFS goes, I did not win in my tournament lineup for the main slate. However, I came very close to taking on the second half showdown slate. I finished in 11th place. I max entered it. And I was one place off from winning another $100. I came in 11th. Again, all my lineups there. 10th place was another double up. So I still doubled my money, and I still profited overall for DFS, but man, that was a bit tilting. Second half, there's definitely a pretty significant edge, just knowing what player is going to play, watching the game, who's most likely going to be out there. So this is my lineup for the second half show. I went to Mond, captain with Browns, D, McKee, Hall, Brooks, and Watkins. And can we just talk about another bad beat, man? I told you I was shaking about Demetric Felton. I took Browns money line. Cade York misses not 1, 2 game-winning field goals. Missed one, was defensive penalty, 5 extra yards, had like a 40-yard field goal, muffed that one too. You see what I'm saying? How it's every day with like it makes you go insane. I mean, if you guys have been watching my preseason content, you know I've had a horrific beat, at least one every single day. I had Browns money line plus 160. Cade York misses 2 field goals to win the game. I don't know if you guys just watched the game in general. I also had Kelly in DFS. Lowe and Kelly in the main slate. Fumbles at the 1. The Browns hit the ball at the 1 yard line. Fumbled. Browns also had like 20 penalties. It just it's actually insane. Actually insane. And then we did have someone, where is it? Where is it? Brian Kelly told me to stop complaining, and it's a big turnoff. Number one, I didn't know I was making OnlyFans content with these videos. And then number two, my channel, man. No offense, but I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to tilt if I want to tilt. Here's the thing. And I've talked about this. Like, if you do not enjoy the tilts, there's a ton of other monotone content out there. Like, there's a lot of other preseason content out there on YouTube. If you guys want the, hey, I like this player. They only have 6 wide receivers. He played 60% of the snaps last. If you want that, there's a ton of content out there, right? If you want that monotone, boring content, go watch someone else. I'm going to do what I want. So, yeah, just wanted to mention that one. I thought that was funny. A big turnoff. Having a lot of fun, a lot of laughs there on Twitter. But yeah, this was stuff I posted for free today. All this stuff I have already up for Friday and Saturday slate. All this data that's over on my Patreon if you guys are interested in that. And yeah, so that's a recap of everything. Again, guys, hopefully you had a good night. And that's everything I wanted to mention. Oh, the sponsor of the video, that is going to be Odds Jam. If you guys are not on Odds Jam, I already have a video up talking. I'm going to have some more videos up, but I have a video going through this fantasy optimizer right now. Go check that one out if you're interested. But you can use the code DKDFS for 25% off your first month. I'll have a link down below. I'll have other videos breaking down some more of these tools. They have positive EV tools, sportsbook screen, which is one of the videos I made of taking the Browns money line. We got the best overall odds there. But super excited to be working with them. And if you guys do sign up with my code, let me know in the comment section or hit me up on Twitter. Okay, so let's get in the video. Let's talk things through Carolina, New York, and Cincinnati and Atlanta. So what do we know here for the Panthers? We'll start off with the Carolina Panthers. I feel like I'm forgetting something to bring up in the video, but I think that's it. I think that was everything I wanted to talk about for the intro. We covered, again, the guy saying it's a huge turnoff for me tilting. Interesting stuff there. Yeah, let's talk through Carolina. So what do we know? Well, Carolina last week, they didn't play their starters a ton, and they played a lot of guys. Bryce Young played 23% of the snaps. Matt Corral played 77% of the snaps, and Jake Luton was the DNP. Now, sounds like to me, everything I've seen so far on Twitter, starters are going to get similar runs. So you probably get a couple drives from the starters. And then Andy Dalton also did not play last game. I don't think they need to say anything of Dalton either. So my guess is you still see a lot of Matt Corral, even though they do have 4 quarterbacks. But we'll see. Hopefully we'll get some clarity on it. But yeah, if I'm going to play one of these Panthers quarterbacks, it's definitely going to be Matt Carroll. He wasn't amazing last game, but he played almost 80% of the snaps, and he is mobile. So I definitely have interest in Matt Corral. The running back situation, so Miles Sanders not expected to play here. He was banged up. And then only 3 of the running backs played. Chuba Hubbard, Rasheem Blackshear, and Spencer Brown. Peoples, I guess he played 1 snap on special teams, but he didn't play any offensive snaps. So if we take a look at the breakdown here for the Panthers last week, and Brown played 42% of snaps, Blackshear 35%, Chuba Hubbard played 23%. Just the Panthers' offense in general is not great. I think all 3 running backs are fine. Again, maybe Peoples actually sees some snaps on offense. If that's the case, then there'll be 4 running backs that play. If they only play Peoples again on special teams, then it'll be 3 running backs. The wide receiver room for Carolina is pretty disgusting. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty disgusting. They played a ton of guys last week. A ton. Let's see. They played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys last week. Now, Terrence Marshall is out, so he's not expected to play. And then, what else? Damiere Byrd, he didn't play last week. He's out. So I'm expecting 10 wide receivers. Oh, Derek White also got banged up. Derek Wright, he could be out. So maybe 9 wide receivers here, but still that's a relatively deep room. Now, if we take a look at the routes and everything, there was a couple of wide receivers that did play a decent chunk in the game, even though they played a ton of guys. It was Shi Smith and it was Javon Wims. Shi Smith ran 19 routes. Javon Wims ran 24 routes. So I think if I'm going to play anyone, it's going to be those 2 guys. And as far as tight ends go, they played 4 tight ends last week. The guy that played most is Tommy Tremble. He played 40% of snaps, ran 14 routes. So I think I'm going to play one tight end. It probably would be Tommy Tremble. He did have a catch as well. So let's move on to the Giants. So the Giants, digging through stuff. It sounds like the starters are going to play, and I would guess maybe a quarter or so. That's what we saw last year from the Giants. A bulk of the starters, they said most of the first half, though. It's not really true. Daniel Jones played until the 12:34 mark of the second quarter. So he basically played a little bit over a quarter last year in game 2. That's kind of what I'm expecting here for the starters for the Giants. They do have T-Mobile, who basically only played one drive last game, and then Tommy DeVito played the rest. Tommy DeVito played a ton. DeVito played 86% of the snaps. So what kind of I'm expecting here, I think this is a pretty fair assumption to make, is probably a quarter or so from Daniel Jones, maybe the second quarter from Tyrod Taylor, and I think the second half for Tommy DeVito. That's kind of what I'm expecting here for the Giants. So if I'm going to play a quarterback, it's going to be Tommy DeVito, but not very mobile, and in my opinion, not a great quarterback in general. Running back situation, a little bit tricky. Brightwell's banged up. I don't expect him to play. You saw, 4 running backs? Yeah, 4 running backs played last week. Breida, Robinson, Corbin, and Gray. Gray played the most, their rookie. He played 39% of the snaps and did run 15 routes. So if I'm going to play a running back here for the Giants, it's going to be Eric Gray. Maybe you see a little bit of Saquon in this game, maybe a drive. But Saquon plays and they'll have 5 running backs, which make it kind of tricky. But again, if I'm going to play one, it would be Eric Gray. Wide receivers here for the Giants. So, and we're expecting the starters. My guess is maybe a quarter or so. Hodgins, Harris Campbell, Darius Slayton. I'm kind of expecting those guys to play about a quarter or so. They're playable tournament options. Robinson's still banged up. I don't expect to see Sterling Shepard. Cole Beasley also has been a little bit banged up. He didn't play a ton last week, but I think he had 4 catches. Let's go through the snap data for the Giants last week. There's one guy that played way more than the rest, and that was a rookie, Bryce Ford Wheaton. Played 71% of the snaps, ran 29 routes. That's definitely interesting, but other than that, it was pretty spread out. No one else really played more than like 20-30% of the snaps. Pimbleton played the second most at 44% of the snaps, but you just had a lot of guys playing like 20-25% of the snaps, and expecting kind of similar run here for those Giants. And then you saw 5 tight ends play for the Giants last week. I think Darren Waller could play in this game, so that's not ideal. If I'm going to play a Giants tight end, I think it would be Lawrence Cager. He didn't do anything. He didn't have a catch or a target, but he did play 31% of snaps. He's a converted wide receiver. So I think him or Tommy Sweeney, who played 34% of snaps, would be guys to look to. I don't hate playing Waller. Like, if you get a first quarter out of Darren Waller, I actually think that makes him firmly in play too, right? Because Darren Waller, we know, is a really solid pass catcher. So I actually think he is playable, assuming he does play. All right, let's move on to the Bengals and the Falcons. So it's kind of weird. The Bengals, their offensive starters are not expected to play, but their defensive starters are. I've never really seen anything like that before. So let's take a look at the data here for Cincinnati last week. Okay, so what do we know for Cincinnati? So we know Joe Burrow's out, right? We know that Joe Burrow is not playing. Reed Sennett did not play last week. Maybe he gets some snaps in this game, but you saw Simeon and Browning both play, and they both basically split the game. Running backs, so this was also really interesting to me. So they technically had 4 running backs active last week, but only 2 running backs played. It was Chase Brown and it was Chris Evans. And they played a lot. 66% of the snaps for the rookie. Chase Brown ran 27 routes, and Chris Evans played 36% of the snaps. So if you get similar run from those guys again, then I really like Brown and Evans. Again, I want to keep an eye on the news here for Sailors and for Tyler. Those are 2 guys that just didn't play last week. And then Trayvon Williams also has been a little bit banged up. He could play in this game. He returned. And then Joe Mixon, starters not expected to play. So it's definitely going to be Brown is my favorite running back here for Cincinnati. Wide receivers, pretty gross. I don't expect the starters, again, to play. So Chase, Higgins, Boyd, I'm not expecting to play. However, they still played a fair amount of guys. So they played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys last week. There's a couple guys that stood out if you're looking at the data. The rookie Charlie Jones played 59% of snaps, ran 32 routes. I think he's a pretty good option here. And then I'm probably going to mispronounce his name, so bear with me here. But Andrea Iosavas played 63% of the snaps and had a whopping 10 targets. 10 targets. That is wild stuff. It's going to be him, and it's going to be Charlie Jones, my two favorite options. If I had to pick a third wide receiver, it probably would be Lassiter, who played 42% of snaps and did have 7 targets as well. All right, looking at the tight end situation here for the Bengals. So expecting kind of similar to last week. They played 4 tight ends. Tanner Hudson did get banged up, and I don't think he'll be available with that concussion. We'll keep an eye on it, but he's obviously a really good pass catcher, but I don't think he'll be available. And then you didn't see Irv Smith or Drew Sample play. It was Devin Asi that played a lot with Tanner Hudson going down. He played 53% of snaps and ran 26 routes. You also had Nick Bowers played 41% of snaps. So those 2 tight ends are firmly in play here, with Asi probably being the guy I'm looking to if there's no Hudson. And then finally, Atlanta. So what do we know here for Atlanta and playing time? So we know that the starters are going to play. We just don't know how much. So last week, they only played Logan Woodside. He played 100% of the snaps. Taylor Heineke did not play. You saw a lot of the starters did not play last week. So we'll keep an eye on the news here for Ritter. He's obviously mobile. If we get some clarity on exactly how much he's going to play, it could have some interest. Like if we know like starters are going to play half or something, then obviously I'm going to have interest in Desmond Ritter. Running backs, pretty deep here. So Algier and Robinson did not play last week. Cordero Patterson banged up. Don't expect him to play. And then you saw Godwin and Carlos Washington play a majority of the game last week. Washington, the rookie, played 61% of the snaps. Godwin played 39%. Now, with Bijan and Algier most likely expected to play, that's 4 running backs. I still think if I'm going to play running back, it probably would be the rookie Washington, who, again, played a lot. He played a lot. 61% of snaps. I don't know if we get that much run again from him with Bijan and Algier expected to play, but I still like him the best of those running backs. Wide receivers, this is really, really gross. I mentioned some teams being gross. This is really gross. So last week, they played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wide receivers. 9 wide receivers. No one played more than 43% of the snaps. Most were in that 20% of the snap range. And Matt Collins, Drake London did not play. Well, they're expected to play in this game. So good luck with this. I guess if I'm going to play a wide receiver, maybe Drake London, and just hope that he plays a fair amount. Again, we don't have clarity on exactly how much the Falcons starter is going to play, but I guess if I had to play a wide receiver here, it probably would be Drake London. But a lot of guys active, and no one played much, so not a great situation there for the Falcons. Now, Kyle Pitts, if he plays in this game, I think he's kind of like a Darren Waller, right? I'll keep an eye on the playing time, but tight end's a pretty weak position in the preseason. And if you get like a quarter from Kyle Pitts or something, that's going to make him a pretty solid option. The tight ends that played last week for Atlanta, you saw 2 tight ends play. However, they played a lot, but they didn't run a lot of routes. Parker Hesse played 74% of snaps. Tucker Fisk played 67% of snaps, but only 11 and 12 routes respectively. Fisk had the big day, 3 catches and 3 targets. Pitts, if he's available, I think would be someone I would have some interest in. Then as far as defenses go, usually, the chalk defense is going to be the defense that you want to target against, bad quarterback play. So, if you look at the quarterbacks, the Giants, Daniel Jones is playing. Cincinnati might have the worst quarterbacks. We know the Falcons starters are playing. So, you can look at the Falcons D. Maybe you can look at the Giants D going up against, Bryce Young, Matt Corral. But defense, a high variance position. I still hate how it is included on DraftKings. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up the video. Really appreciate you guys watching as always. If you do enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's try to aim for 75 likes in this video. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night. I'll have content up for Saturday. It's going to be a big day on Saturday. And we'll see you all in the next video.